Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another scene of Living World of Darkness. Today, we are having a nice conversation at Lady Sheridan's house. Presumably, everyone will make their way there and find themselves seated in a nice living room. Nice, comfortable living room. Lady Sheridan would have shown both of her guests in and invited them to take a seat after making sure that Frank's motorbike is well secured in the garage. How will Alex arrive?
By white van driven by his ghoul.
Fair enough. His ghoul will be shown through to the kitchen. There's not much in the kitchen, but there are some supplies if he wants to have a snack.
And he will. Anyway, as we're shown into the living room, I guess I will climb into the armchair.
Frank, for his part, is going to go ahead and take a stand for most of this meeting, actually.
Fair enough. Lady Sheridan will sit crossing her legs at the ankle.
Frank will go ahead and just take once or twice a small pacing maneuver before turning to the two kindred before him and saying, Lady Sheridan, thank you for hosting this little get-together. And thank you, Mr. Alex, for returning the summons that I sent you.
It is a pleasure, as always.
Now, it may or may not be the pleasure. I do not know. I do not care. The fact is, Mr. Alex, Mr. Dallas, I need your particular skill set.
And I'm happy to make it available to you.
All right. You showed quite a deal of interest with the park murders over in New Jersey. Let me ask you this. Would you like to help me in this particular instance, this particular issue I'm having?
Sure. I did a little digging with my contact, but he's not gotten back to me with any information yet. But I would gladly help you further.
What's the cost of your service?
Given that I've mostly dealt with small things, I've really not thought of cost. I guess the standard, whatever a PI would charge.
Oh, that's fantastic. You get the opportunity to go ahead and see your name advance in this fantastic society for helping out the sheriff in one of his causes.
Yep, that's about what I expected.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mr. Alex, where do we see ourselves within this city within the coming months?
Well, I am helping Mr. Silas set up another base of operations, as it were, and doing some experiments of my own. I know most kindred like to climb the ladder, as it were, but I'm mostly just trying to help out my clan.
Yes, your clan. Myself and Mr. Silas, we had an awfully good working relationship. Well, we did have a lovely good relationship when he was the seneschal at the time, and I was newly promoted sheriff. We didn't go against each other. We pretty much played our own game, and when we came together to get something working, we had it working. In fact, there were quite a number of instances that got resolved rather quickly, simply because that we were so not necessarily open with each other, but willing to work with each other quite a lot. Mr. Silas is quite a creed to your clan.
And we're proud to have him as Parmesan and Prince.
Of course. I would like to see this cooperation between myself and Clan Nosferatu extend into the next few nights.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to it at all.
Fantastic. So if you're willing to help me with this particular endeavor, we can go ahead and foster that kind of cooperative relationship. And should you find yourself in need of some sort of rank or desiring of some sort of social position, you do me one good solid, I'll do you another good solid. How about that one?
That will be a good arrangement.
All right, very well, very well. Mr. Alex, this particular issue that we have currently, this murder plot, it's interesting simply because of its unique circumstances, the conditions surrounding the death, the exsanguination of the body, and further on to those other details, but mostly the exsanguination.
In matter of fact, I might have a few more details to add to the list that are concerning about this.
We'll go ahead, my
Please do
lady.
continue.
All right, right. I'll go ahead and propose to you a question, Alex. How does a body get exsanguinated like that, get totally deprived of all its bodily fluids, and yet not leave a mark?
Well,
consider this for a second. Most medical equipment, while it's in operation, while the body is healthy, will go ahead and heal over, maybe even scab over the wounds that most medical pumps actually perform. The problem here is that the body was exsanguinated, and yet there's no evidence of any medical equipment being applied to the body. It's just completely clean. No pinprick, no scarification, nothing.
my thought is either A, it was a vampire who closed the wounds after he was finished, or the coroner was a little sloppy and didn't check the mouth very well.
That's exactly my concern as well, the first condition.
Regarding the mouth,
Mm-hmm.
there was blood in it.
Do go on, Lady Sheridan. You're bringing to light issues that I didn't know about.
Yes, well, you know, it was recommended to investigate the journalist and what he might know and not have shared as yet. Well, he may have even seen the body being dumped. He mentioned that the people moved unreasonably fast.
Interesting.
That the body was tied to a tree and even indicated which tree on a rough map of the park, which I can fetch for you shortly. And he said that he found that the body had blood on its mouth.
blood on its mouth.
Yes.
As in, it escaped
Anything
from its
else?
mouth?
No, not as in it escaped from its mouth, as in it had blood on its mouth.
Right. Anything else in this narrative that you're currently telling me?
As I said, he said that the people moved unreasonably fast.
Moved unreasonably fast,
And
fastened the
presumably,
body.
given that he was only able to take one photo
Mhm.
before being chased off the scene by the police, they must have arrived rather quickly as well.
Oh. So that's also something else I didn't know. Is that a clue that perhaps the police were tipped off to this particular dump?
It seems likely, but I have yet to look into that. I don't really have a great deal of association with the police, let alone ones in New Jersey. It's something to look into, and I will certainly add it to my list if nobody else mentions a ability to look into that. But it's not certain.
If
I
I may,
certainly
if I may interrupt a second, what was the journalist doing in a park in the middle of the night?
I don't know. We had a lovely little chat, but he seemed a little skittish. I had to be careful as to what I asked. Otherwise, I could end up running the masquerade more than whoever caused this did.
I see. It's just odd that a journalist of any kind would be exactly in the park where a body was dumped. And also that the police would show up just probably a minute or two after the dump.
I know. It is quite a coincidence, if indeed it is a coincidence. But it might have been the intent of the people who left the body.
This is true. Remember when Mr. Peck were actually telling us about this? This was a serial killer. What kind of signs we would actually have to look for? The fact of the body being displayed as the body was found so quickly on display for anybody to see, and in fact, this evidence coming in suggests that to see this, to maybe witness it. These people that moved
Or that the people
unnaturally.
were called in for some or that the people were called in for some other reason and then chosen to witness this. I don't
Exactly.
know if there was some other event that might have been due to happen in the park before the body was placed there, but either way, they certainly aimed for a public. This was not a
Okay,
mistake.
Mr. Dalis.
This was planned.
Mr. Alex, what should we be doing right now?
Unfortunately, as is the case with most serial killers, you usually have to wait for the serial killer to make a mistake. I guess we could try and find some more information out of the body that mayhaps the police aren't able to get through forensics, and maybe checking the park to see if something was left behind that the police wouldn't find interesting.
Pertinent.
Yeah, that too.
Well, we need access to the park, and we need, if we're going to go ahead and investigate, access to the body, or at least the coroner's report to the body. Now, access to the body is going to be too hard as long as we keep our noses clean and don't draw too much attention to ourselves.
You
Not
may find
only
it
do we not want
difficult
to
to
draw...
approach. You may
Hmm?
find it difficult to
Excuse me?
approach the specific tree in question if it has been cordoned off.
Yes, exactly. We do not want to be noticed by mortal kind authorities, but we also don't want to be lured into some sort of trap. Apparently, these people, whoever they are, have gone to great many lengths to at least shake our cage. They might be looking for one of us. Now, I personally do not have the resources or... Yeah. Now, I myself, it's easy enough to get access to the park. It may be a little bit tougher to find off the cordon off area of the park and to gain information about that. My clan does have certain small creatures and other animals, but a more intelligent viewpoint is needed. As far as the body of the victim, I personally do not have the kind of mortal influence to find that relatively easy. Somebody with influence in the medical community, or at least some type of influence within the what do they call it? Not influence in the cops. Influence in the NYPD.
Well, it depends on what my contact is willing and brave enough to share. I might get a copy of the coroner's report, but I might not.
A copy of the coroner's report. Then at least you can talk to somebody who looked at the body or examined it. I mean, people have loose lips if you just go ahead and talk to them. Say the right words
True.
in the right places.
I assume no one else in the media has caught wind of this story.
Not to my notice so far. I will see what I can do regarding the coroner. I'm not certain how easy that may or may not prove to be, but I do have a few skills that might prove useful.
Did you find anything out about the reporter's past? Whether he might have been selected to view this event for some reason?
Only that he is something of a conspiracy fan.
Well, that'll work on our... I don't think you'll have to I don't think you'll have... I don't think you'll have to discredit him if he seems discredited in the major networks anyway.
Yes, but I've encouraged his opinion that it was aliens. In fact, I told him that the bodily fluids were removed as a nutrient bath for the organic components of the ships.
Huh. Clever.
Hmm.
And I wonder if Frank Green goes ahead and trails off at the end of that sentence, not wishing to finish it in mixed company. Right. So, I do need some people on the ground, or at least walking around that park, to see if there is something that they may have missed. However, I need another talent. I know for a fact that Mr. Peck is quite talented in the discipline of second sight, although I fear that gaining his time and energy on this project would certainly cost.
Yes.
He's
Well, we
a
certainly can't rely upon his.
established.
Well, we certainly can't rely upon his loyalty to the city.
He's an established kindred within the city. He's not gonna. He needs more convincing than the word of the sheriff. He's been here longer than me, to be honest.
I understand.
In any case, if not him, then perhaps somebody else who is talented in discipline of specs.
I merely
But
have a rudimentary knowledge. I believe, as I said, uh, Mr. Peck is rather more talented. But I will uh, ask, did do you know if Rose has any talents in Auspex?
I know that Goblin does.
Ah, yes. I nearly forgot. Um, I will see if I can bring him up to date on the matter and see what he can do.
Actually, I think this is a job well suited for the Nosferatu. That particular one, at least. He does have the second sight. Perhaps he has it at a level that can be useful. And he also has the discipline of animalism, which will at least help him out, feather out any traps or surprises that we may find. However, that doesn't replace raw investigatory talent, which I assume you have, Alex.
Yes, I might not be as good with dealing with people as I once was, but I am definitely good at sniffing out a clue.
Right then. Alex, I'd like you to come with me when I try for the park, and hopefully I'll find some other like-minded kindred that are willing to help me out.
Okay.
One thing I will have to do is I will have to talk to Mr. Peck, perhaps in private, to try to convince him to help us out with this endeavor. Lady Sheridan.
Yes?
How long have you been in this city?
About 2 months.
And how much of a help have you been to the sect at large?
Well, I have begun developing media influence as suggested by our dear Prince. I have, with a small amount of assistance, reclaimed this place from unsavory characters. I have made myself as much use as I have seen the opportunity for.
Mm-hmm. And how have you been recognized for these efforts?
Well, I am the Ventru Primogen, but that had little to do with either of those. I have my domain, which was directly in response to my ability to take and hold it. I have been moderately well recompensed for my time and effort.
This is true. This is true. However, if I went over the Harpy's ledger once again, I would see that your status is only that of a neonate, right?
It is.
Why don't I go ahead and try to correct that small little error next time I talk with the prince?
I would
And
greatly appreciate that.
yes, yes, of course, of course. You'll understand that within this city, neonate primogens are definitely a thing. But if the neonate goes ahead and shows due competence and excellence, sometimes that neonate title sort of gets upgraded in status. This is the new world, and this is the place where the young generation finds its stand.
As I said, I would certainly appreciate a word in the correct ear.
All right, then. Lee Sheridan, is there anything that has not been discussed already within this meeting?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. Mr. Alex, is there anything that you require at the moment to help you on with your efforts in this operation?
No. The only thing I would mention is that if it was a public display these people were after, this is not some death fetishist.
Also, I can't help but think that it has not been nearly as public as they are likely to have wanted. One small tabloid newspaper, covered up by the police quite quickly. They may feel that their message has not been heeded and seek to make another one.
If they didn't, I'd be quite surprised. I'd be quite happy not to have another exsanguinated body around us, but I expect another one, and perhaps another one. And I don't expect these presentations to become any more clean.
No. But we may find that in their haste to address the issue of their publicity, it might be somewhat sloppier. There might be more clues if we can attempt to get ahead of them.
All right.
And their cleanup crew.
The idea of a cleanup crew. I never really thought about that. I believe that a cleanup crew would clean up traces of their entry and exit into the scene.
No, I more meant the fact that the police hurried the journalist away. The police have yet to make any comments to the media, as far as I'm aware. The story has been kept rather quiet for such an unusual body dump.
Huh, interesting. Jersey, New Jersey. That particular neighborhood has not been exactly on the up and up, but for some reason or another, you never hear about the terrible things going on over there, or at least over on the Hudson.
So, whether they are associated with the killers or not, and quite likely not in this case, the police are acting as a clean-up crew. Removing their bodies, stomping across the crime scene to foul the clues.
Interesting.
Also, given that the people running the investigation are not New York PD, since it is on the New Jersey side, is it possible that New York, or not New York Kindred are New York Kindred are not responsible, but maybe New Jersey?
That is the thing. Our particular sect, the Camarilla, has their fortress in Manhattan. As far as the other independent sects, well, none a lot of us have gone ahead and reached out. This could be a case where another independent sect has decided to clean up their own masquerade. It could be another entirely different motive. Perhaps the authorities just simply wish to wash under the rug any sort of violence that's currently occurring. Perhaps it's politically inconvenient for them to go ahead and have such a case.
There are many possibilities. Unfortunately, we do not seem to be much closer to narrowing them down. But it is possible that they were not, in fact, intending to kill the individual at all. With the fact that blood was found in his mouth.
You see Franklin go ahead and give you a very, very grave head shake. Yeah.
In which case we might not find more bodies. They might simply have chosen to display it in this way and to attract this attention, to make a statement to us rather than to the public as a whole. That they are.
Yeah, that they are very, very capable of placing dead bodies wherever the hell they want to, and reanimating them right then and there, causing a humongous
and
breach.
that they intend to increase their numbers. Perhaps as something of a threat or an overture of introduction.
It's definitely an introduction, and we should definitely go ahead and be aware of other instances. Alex, I'm going to go ahead and rely on you for this particular amount of knowledge, because I don't have that much. What would you say be the time for a next particular message like this? Is it a matter of weeks or a month, or is it a matter of years?
It depends on how well the compulsion of said individual comes about. Some people, their compulsion is strictly done on a yearly timetable. I've heard of serial killers who have only killed once a year on the same date.
That's if we assume that there is only one person acting. If there are several acting in concert, well, that does lead to some complications, doesn't it?
Yeah, such as the usual serial killer profile wouldn't work. It's more of like a mafia, it's more of like a mafia type organization, or, some sort of criminal organization, but this isn't in a usual gang-related display here, but it could possibly be some sort of new gang display.
What I'm curious about is if they were trying to embrace him, why shave his hair and eyebrows?
Maybe it was just to be funny.
To force him to remain that way forever. Who has that kind of sense of humour? Aside from certain obvious candidates.
I really couldn't tell you. Really couldn't tell you. Some people find their own humor in lots of things.
All I'm
Schadenfreude is
saying,
a universal. Schadenfreude is a universal idea.
yes, but all I'm saying is that it seems likely that it was not members of our sect attempting to embrace him, if that is what they were in fact doing.
It doesn't seem right because the insanguinated body, the blood in the mouth, it sounds as if either when we talk to the police, the body will have gone missing, or there would have been talk of it, or yeah, it trying to get out of said situation if it
Only
had
if it was
arisen.
successful.
Right? In which case, if it was a failed embracing, why go through all this rigmarole, as you will?
Well, if it is
That
that,
is the point. The idea is their intention was for such a embrace to happen and for a spectacular shootout between the authorities and this newly embraced, fairly frenzied, induced soul. If it was failed, well, the perpetrators of such a presentation scene didn't foresee this.
Either the individual is incapable of embracing, or they don't know how.
well, it is more complex than most people seem to believe. But on top of which, we must consider, given that they shaved the individual first, and given that the particular sense of humour involved seems more likely to belong in one of the other sects than our own, was this individual the only one they chose? Or were they simply, as the failure, displayed to make a statement to us about whatever else they might have intended?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The Sausage King. He was a thorn in our side for many, many months. And the way we eventually discovered him and figured out his haven was simply by looking at his shovel heads, how he embraced. If we can find a correlation between more victims, well, that's also another clue that we should be looking into.
Certainly. Unfortunately, or perhaps, well, as fortunate as it may be in general that we do not have more bodies, unfortunately that leaves us without more clues and correlations to search for. As yet.
This is true. Something to look into. At the moment, we're not. At the moment, it's going to be very, very hard for us to discover all of these secrets to this particular incident. What we're doing right now is we're simply informing ourselves and arming ourselves with the sort of information, the sort of knowledge that we'll need in the coming night, should there be a repeat offense.
That and a substantial degree of speculation.
Oh yeah. Nothing we have said, except for what you, Sheridan, have already shown us, is in fact the truth. We have evidence from you, we have speculations between the three of us, but until we can get some hard evidence and draw conclusions, we're at a standstill at the moment.
Yes.
If only we had a kindred with some influence with the cops.
We did. He defected.
Do we know anything about the type of influence he had? Maybe some old contacts?
Most of his contacts and his influences and his mortal structure came from James Voorhees himself or Jan Peterzoon, both of which are beyond our reach at the moment. James being beyond the pale, and Peterzoon generally being an agent of the Camarilla who is very hard to pin down at any one moment.
Hence his relinquishing his position as Ventru Primogen.
Mm-hmm. We can't count him as an inhabitant of the city. He may own a summer house here. That's about it. Like I said, at the moment we are at a standstill. We're going to have to go out, troll, look at the scene, see what we can pick up there, regroup. For now, is there anything else that we can discuss right now that will lead us to more conclusions, or are we just talking around in circles for the moment?
Somewhat in circles, I believe. I'll see if I can manage anything regarding the coroner. I make no promises, as I have no knowledge of the man, but as I said, I have a few skills that may prove useful if I can bring them to bear.
Mm-hmm. Lady Sheridan, I would like you to coordinate with Mr. Alex here. He seems to have a contact, which you can use to leverage.
When you do talk to the coroner, if you could possibly get a sample of the blood from around the that was in the man's mouth.
No.
No?
That's playing your hand.
Oh.
It would be fantastic to get a record of such blood, and it would be very interesting if the blood did not match. Although the body being exsanguinated, let the coroner tell you his own story. Don't lead him on any certain path. Although, Lady Sheridan, I don't have to tell you that.
She'll smile.
Lady Sheridan, it was a fantastic evening. Your home is homely. I see where you have gone ahead and decorated some more. And I hope to visit this particular domain again sometime.
Well, you are quite welcome to visit.
Perhaps on some social call in that business.
Well, it is always a pleasure to see you, whether on business or otherwise.
All right. Yes, show me out, please. Thank you.
Excellent. And Lady Sheridan will escort both of them out and make sure that they collect Alex's ghoul on the way. And take them out to their vehicles and say goodnight.
Mm-hmm. Frank Green will go ahead and exit via his own vehicle off into the night. The motorcycle driving, leather jacket wearing, sunglasses at night asshole.
Alex will bow and offer his hand to Lady Sheridan again.
And she will give him her hand.
Please, let me know how the coroner goes, and any new information, I will see what Goblin can and me can ascertain about the site. You did get to show us the map and the tree, right?
Ah, yes.
Okay.
And she will take it from one of the drawers, take a photo of it on her phone, and send the photo over to the sheriff, which he will find at some point.
Okay.
And she'll hand over the actual copy to Alex.
Hmm. He'll take it and put it in his uh, jacket and smile again. Thank you for an interesting evening. Let me know if I can help you interpret any information you get.
I will certainly bear you in the forefront of my mind. Have a good evening.
You too. And with that, he gets into the van and goes on his way.
And with that, I think the scene will end.